Few films so immediately reoriented me in space and time the way Sweet Movie did. I saw it in my first week of film school in Philadelphia, and I immediately decided to change schools. I wanted my life to be different. My whole life I had wanted to go to school in Boston, but I didn't get in. The minute the film ended, I filled out a transfer application. I was going to lead the life I wanted to lead. I was gone by the end of the semester. I saw in the blue-gray twilight of my adopted home the great swirling dismay of storm clouds, of impending war and forgotten ideals, and I'd commune with the last seconds before a broken promise ruptured a continent's burgeoning post-war identity, when communism was still attainable as an ideal, when art like this could reliably be funded, if not exactly expected to make money. Dejan Makavayev was the great hope of Yugoslavian cinema, while there was still such a thing. He emerged from their film school in the 50s with an incurable curiosity for grammatical possibilities and a hunger for controversial subject matter. He wanted answers. His first films fused documentary and fiction and got him kicked out of his homeland. Too much sex, too many stones thrown at the Goliath of a murderous, repressive government with secrets they didn't want getting out. Josip Tito, the president of the new Yugoslavia, broke with Stalinist socialism to form his own brand of cruel governance. He decentralized the economy, allowing privatized businesses to run rampant, allowed religion back into the country, and then he sent the few remaining vocal communists to labor camps where they died by the hundreds. This was what Makavayev wanted to show his people, who still lived under this man's thumb. The authorities threw him out when he tried, so he built himself a fake safe haven. Sweet Movie is set largely on a barge, with the image of Karl Marx as its masthead. Here the ideals of communism could flourish where outside influence would never touch them.
Is there life after birth? Is there life on the earth? Is there life after birth? It's a joy to be alive. It's good to be glad, good to survive. It's great to be mad.
European cinema was coining a language of fatuous decay to describe the tormented headspace of survivors and newborns alike from the last 4 decades of conflict. Socialism as an idea had been corrupted by tyrants, and through the Trojan horse of equality came unimaginable horror. Makavayev, one of the sharpest and most unsparing social critics, acknowledges this by having his barge captain give in to terrible urges and seduce children with the promise of hedonistic excess, turning away from their principles, promising capitalism's bounty in their stead, and then killing children. This had become the way of Europe's leaders. The story begins with a Canadian beauty queen who is violated by her crazed American husband and then travels across Europe looking for a home, someplace she might be allowed to live. Nothing comes close to protecting her, and only further exploitation awaits. After having cobbled together the budget from a handful of nations, Makavayev's Sanctuary movie barely played theaters the world over, made almost no money, and was banned in many territories for its frank and upsetting sexual content, its depiction of the human body, and its palpable polemical anger. When I saw it, I fell in love. I felt like I was being read a love poem by history. My people, real socialists, were calling across a sea of time, speaking through the most lovely photography, through bountiful art direction, and an unforgettable, lovely, melancholy score.
Hej, Potiemkin! Ty przebywasz tej sławnej rewolucji, której się nie udało? Ja myślę o 1905 roku.
Mon capitaine, je suis ton nouvel amant.
Zwiastowanie!
Je suis affamé d'amour. J'ai faim d'amour.
Lud zgłodniały. Jest głodny również miłość. Naładowany elektrycznością.
Avanti popolo, alla riscossa, Bandiera rossa, bandiera rossa, avanti popolo, alla riscossa, bandiera rossa, trionferà.
I'd never experienced anything like it. The way it lets brilliant natural light hit the junk shop production design and gorgeously intimate spaces. I felt what people must feel when they speak of past lives. This was a place I'd never see unless I opened my eyes. Paradise careening into a storm. True political art. Unafraid of anything, willing to admire everything a human is, does, and can be. Makovayev couldn't show the graves of communists who died in Tito's labor camps. So he instead showed the footage of the bodies exhumed from the Katyn massacre. Because when anyone bleeds, we all bleed.
Ne reste pas ici. Ce bateau est plein de cadavres.
Mais quelle importance! Le monde entier est plein de cadavres.
His fight was the world's fight. And Sweet Movie gave me my marching orders. To show empathy first and judge only those who reject it for violence. To know what fascists will do to human beings without a second thought. To see that human beings at their best can be the most wonderful and sensuous creatures under the sky. That every moment is a chance to live beautifully. That history may have done to us unspeakable cruelties, but we only owe history the future, not the present. The present is for love, for art, for sex, for people, for us. The future cannot be better if we deny ourselves and each other love right now. I still believe in us, because he and his movie believed in me, his audience, that I would someday find his abused masterpiece and become radicalized by it. And someday you might too. And if we all learned its lesson, somehow we could rebuild his paradise and try once again. Right now we need to cooperate so badly, to create force powerful enough to crush the fascist insect once and for all. Our nation has always been a graveyard. It could be so much more.
Από εχθρούς και από πίστου